In the middle of the first week of the holiday break here at the GCU campus and in the middle of a resurgent three-game homestand for your Lopes women's basketball team as the lights come up here at GCU Arena for the second time this week. And it's your Lopes hosting the Gauchos of the University of Cal Santa Barbara from the Big West Conference. Good evening, everybody. Jim Howe welcoming you to Game 2 of this three-game homestand that will conclude on Sunday. And the proverbial monkey is off of the backs of the Lopes because they came home after a really terrible two-game road swing in the state of Oregon a week ago. They had 8 days to think about it, and obviously the thinking was productive because a renewed commitment to defense Monday night against the Rebels of UNLV helped the Lopes overcome an 11-0 deficit to start the game, a resurgent start to the second half, and then holding the Rebels scoreless for the final 2.5 minutes of the game thanks to that defense to win 53-51 and snap the four-game losing skid. Now they will try to get closer to the 500 mark against a team that, like the Lopes, come in 2 games below 500. That is the Gauchos of UCSB, a team that is currently fighting a 2-game losing skid of their own. And much the same way, they were plagued by slow starts to their second halves in each of their last 2 games against Pacific, and then this past weekend against Cal State Bakersfield, and a furious fourth quarter rally in both of them wound up coming short. So, how's this gonna go? Gaucho Blue against Lopes Purple. We got the starting lineups and all the play-by-play coming up on the other side of this break right here on GCU TV.
You have a foundation of strong values. You belong where your passions come to life. Grand Canyon University's online degree program in cybersecurity makes it convenient for you to join the newest front in keeping your community safe. GCU teaches you how to secure and protect a virtual environment. Join the growing field of cybersecurity.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit GCU.
America with the playing of our national anthem. The Star Spangled Banner will be performed this evening by your very own Thundering Herd Pep Band under the direction of the Professor, Dr. Paul Cook. At guard, the 5'7" junior, number 0, Danae Miller. At guard, the 5'9" junior, number 3, Alicia Hernandez. At guard, the 5'11" sophomore, number 11, Lauren Lee. At guard, the 5'10" senior, number 23, Coco Miller. And at center, a 6'4" freshman, number 31, Ayana Lee. The Gauchos are led by head coach Bonnie Henderson, assisted by Alexa Pierre, Nate Fripp, and Nika and Holly. It's time to meet your Grand Canyon University Anthem! At guard, a 5'6" freshman from Pleasanton, California, number 4, Jada Holland. At guard, a 5'8" sophomore from Barcelona, Spain, number 5, Lana Vieira. At forward, a 6'2" sophomore from Barcelona, Spain, number 12, Carla Balaguer. At guard, a 5'10" freshman from Langley, British Columbia, number 13, Tavia Rowell. And at forward, a 6'4" senior from Killing, Texas, number 34, Deja Daniel. The Lopes are led by head coach Nicole Powell, assisted by Brad Langton, Sidney Crafton, and Taylor High.
So Nicole Powell starting 5 introduced right after Bonnie Hendrickson's Gauchos starting 5 introduced. Hendrickson in her 5th year at the helm of this UCSB squad after coaching for 11 years at Kansas. And Nicole Powell, this is her first head coaching job, and she's done a great job. She's in her 3rd season. The Gauchos trying to snap a modest 2-game losing skid, losing to the University of Pacific at home 2 weeks ago before heading to Cal State Bakersfield and dropping a 4-point game, 66-62 over the weekend. Meanwhile, the Lopes, as we mentioned in the pregame show, snapping that 4-game losing skid on Monday night here in front of the home fans, scoring the last 6 points of the game to win it 53-51. Isla Lane set to jump it up against Deja Daniel, and for the 2nd straight time at home, Daniel and company will control the opening tap, and they will move from left to right across your GCU TV screen. Here's Lauda Pieta driving the baseline, gets the first step, throws it cross court. They find the open person, that is Rowell for 3! And pick it up where she left off after getting 3 big trays in the come from behind win Monday night. Rowell gets gets GCU started with a 3-0 lead after beating UNLV on Monday night. Lauda Pieta steps in front of the pass that was intended inside for Coco Miller. Goes out of bounds, and they'll reset the shot clock to 20. And lead official Kyle Bacon wants the Gauchos to inbound it on the baseline instead of out front. 3-person officiating crew, Bacon along with Felicity Willis and Kevin Tomei. Here is Miller. Miller, 1 bounce, being hounded by Holland. Gets it high post for Isla Lane. Here is Lauren Lee. Now for Alicia Hernandez, they get it inside, and muscling her way up and getting the shot is Isla Lane as she went toe-to-toe with Lope center, Deja Daniel. So each team successful in their initial offensive foray. We played a minute, and the Lopes with the ball on the 3-2 edge. Pieta out front, picked up by Miller. Pieta spreading the floor, now drives in. Nice little lob for Balaguer. She'll put it up and in. Pieta getting more and more comfortable driving the middle of the lane and dishing off for open jumpers. And Balagay, the benefactor, it's 5-2. Lopes on top. Still in the early going here at GCU Arena. Glad you're with us here on GCU TV. Middle of this three-game homestand. Miller around the screen. She'll put up the shot off the glass and get it. Coco Miller, who just went over the 1,000-point career mark against the University of Pacific 2 weeks ago. And it's 5-4, Lopes with the basketball. Holland out for Balagay, who's on the high post. Gets it on the back door for Rowell. She'll put it up on go. Fights, gets her own rebound, moves inside a Lane, and Lane blocks the follow-up shot and controls the board. Danae Miller, the leading scorer on this team, brings it out of backcourt. She's also the point guard. Stutter step, drives on Piera, forces up the shot, won't go. Wanted a foul, didn't get it, and Daniel all by her lonesome gets the rebound. Piera will call out a set play as she crosses the midcourt line. Waits for a Balagay screen. Here's Carla over for Rowell. Rowell also using Carla for a screen. Here's Holland. Holland now has it knocked away. Miller goes down and completes the steal. Here come the Gauchos with a chance to take their first lead. Open look, Alicia Hernandez fires the three and gets it. She's the leading three-point shooter on this Gaucho squad and shows it there. And that's the first lead change of the night, nearly 3 minutes in. 7-5, Santa Barbara. Pieta setting up outside the right arc, waiting for Rowell to come to that side. Now she goes to the left side, gives it for Holland. Holland, high post for Balagay. They want to try and work it into Daniel, but she's being covered by Lane. Lane prevents the pass, knocks it away, and it's stolen by Miller, and here comes UCSB 4-on-2. Give it to Hernandez from the other side. That three-pointer won't go. Lane tipping the rebound around, but Daniel comes in to get her second defensive board of the night. Here's Pieta on the stutter step. Cut off, brings it back out front for Carla Balagay. Swing it around right side for Rowell. She's going to fire another three! And Rowell now 2 for 2, and Tavia, the native of Langley, British Columbia, north of the border, gives the Lopes the lead back at 8-7. Out front is Coco Miller. Hernandez comes out to get the basketball. Give it for Miller. It's Danae and Coco. That's the starting backcourt. Danae wearing 0 and Coco wearing 23. And now an errant pass intended for Miller on the drive by Lee, and it goes past her out of bounds. So again, good defense by the Lopes as Balagay came up limping a bit. And now Nicole Powell going to her bench early as Ven Lavares, the three-point shooter extraordinaire, along with Kennedy Shorts, coming into the lineup to join Holland, Pieta, and Deja Daniel. Lopes on the attack. 6 minutes gone by, and now Miller sticks the leg out and kicks that one out of bounds. 20 on the shot clock for the Lopes. 5:52 left to go in this back and forth first quarter. And because it's a kick, it'll be Varis, a native of Finland, 5'11" sophomore sharpshooter. Wanted to inbound, and instead Pieta says, I'll take it. So Lauda looking to inbound to the left of her own bucket, does so to Jada Holland. Holland around a screen set by Shorts, puts up a 15-footer, partially blocked. Pieta, nice job one-handing the rebound, but as she saves it, she instead throws it to the Gauchos. Here comes Danae Miller. Miller, drive the right base, brings it back out for Hernandez. Pieta with a hand in her face. Off for Coco Miller right side. Throws it cross court. Open look for Danae Miller. She fires the three, won't go. Coco Miller able to sneak in and get the offensive board. Fresh shot clock. Now Miller sneaks in. Fakes left, shoots right. That one won't go. Miller saves, but right into the lap of the Lopes Kennedy Shorts. Outlet it for Pieta. Gauchos with defensive numbers back, so Pieta slows it up. That cross-court pass is tipped, but right into the lap of Ven Lavares. And now Holland wants to reset as we're at the midpoint of this first quarter. Holland now drive inside, stop and pop from 6. That's off the glass, not good. Shorts had the defensive position, but the long rebound comes down, and the Gauchos control. Miller now will drive and decides better of it. Comes back out, drives on Pieta. Out front for Coco Miller. Low block pass for Isla Lane. She'll turn, shoot over Daniel, won't go. Lane fights to get her own rebound. Nicole Powell was lobbying for a push-off, and she's going to win that argument. That'll be a loose ball foul on Lane. That's the first foul on either team, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 4:39 left to go first quarter. Got a good one so far. It's GCU 8, UC Santa Barbara 7, right here on GCU TV.
Wait, let's actually do it right.
Hi guys, what's up? Have you guys ever heard of Ask GCU?
I have heard of it.
I have before, yeah.
What is your favorite Ask GCU episode?
Why I should go to GCU?
Probably the best food place.
You know, we all love food. Yeah. So probably that episode.
What's the best way to drink a stampede?
Go-karts.
What is your favorite Ask GCU episode?
All of them.
Yeah, thank you.
My favorite episode is probably where they asked about the Chick-fil-A line.
The breakfast one's pretty good.
The one where you guys talk about the best places to have breakfast on campus and everyone said Chick-fil-A.
That's the best breakfast I ever had.
Welcome week 1. That one's really clutch.
The welcome week where Brittany jumps around into people's cars and asks them questions. Remember, kids, don't get into people's vehicles.
I just really liked you guys.
I just like it when you're in it.
You too.
Tweet hashtag AskGCU to get your question featured.
Lopes with a 1-point lead. It's time to take a look at our 3 keys to the game. They're brought to you by Sanderson Ford. And the first one is definitely important for the Lopes. Have a hand in it, because it was that renewed commitment to defense on Monday night where the Lopes spent a lot of time getting their hands in the passing lanes against the Rebels, forcing some key steals, especially down the stretch, that gave them the win. If they can keep that commitment to defense, I think we'll see more smiles on the face of head coach Nicole Powell. Second one, third is the charm, because it was the third quarter that the Lopes came out Monday night and obliterated a 6-point deficit very quickly with a 16-2 run, and they were in it from there. Meanwhile, UCSB has struggled in their last 2 games in the third quarter, falling behind by double-digit deficits, and that's been the key to this 2-game losing streak. And finally, the 2-minute warning. The Lopes held UNLV scoreless for the final 2.5 minutes on Monday night, and if they can clamp down defensively down the stretch, good things usually happen. Lopes with the ball and an 8-7 lead. Here is Jada Moss, who checked in during that stop and play. Give it off for Deja Daniel. Here's Pieta. Pieta start to weave through the defense, go inside. High arching shot with the left hand is perfect by Lauda Pieta. Good presence of mind, even though she had the 6'4" Isla Lane in her face, was able to just lob it over. And the Lopes with a 3-point edge, it equals their biggest. Here's a scramble for the ball, and it's tapped to the side. Nice control by Venla Varis. Coco Miller lost the handle, tried to throw it off Varis, and Venla able to step out and retrieve the steal. So the Lopes, as we move inside of 4 minutes to go with the basketball. Pieta out front, trying to use Daniel for a screen, and does so effectively as she drives. Then on the pick and roll, gets it to Daniel, fumbles, gets it back, throws it up, throws it in, score it, count it, foul, send the senior center to the free throw line to try with the 3-point play. Daniel would not be denied there as she fumbled it, and when Lane came up to make up the ground, it didn't matter. That foul called on Elisa Hernandez, who had the help defense, but Daniel will head to the line as Kennedy Shorts heads to the bench. Carla Balagay back in the lineup. Free throws not good. Balagay trying to fight for the rebound, but Lane had the defensive position. So the Lopes lead is now 5. It's the largest of the evening at the 3.5 minute mark. Out front is the backup point guard. That is Johnny Gonzalez, the 5'6" freshman from Kansas City, Missouri, dribbling to the left side. Gets it over. Dribble drive by Tal Sahar. Can't go anywhere with it. Back out from Miller. Here's Gonzalez. Inside for Lane. Hook shot with the left hand's a beauty from Isla Lane. And it's a 12-9 Lopes lead as they bring it on the attack. Out front is Pieta. Comes around a Daniel screen, keeps coming. Throw it up off the glass very nicely, very softly. And now Pieta 2 for 2 on those nice drives. Out front, Johnny Gonzalez with Coco Miller getting her first breather of the night. Here's Sahar, back for Gonzalez. Gonzalez being covered by Jada Moss. Shot clock at 9. Here's Danae Miller. Fumbles, gets it back. Way out front is Sahar with 4 on the clock. Got to do something. Drives on Balagay. Scoop shot is good. In the manner of Steve Nash, she'll get it to go, and it will count, and she's fouled in the play. So Sahar with the aggressive move. Balagay picks up the first personal foul of the night for the Lopes. And just like that, Nicole Powell may be seeing a matchup problem. We'll get Balagay right back out, and Kennedy Shorts right back in. So Sahar able to capitalize on the three-point play with the free throw. And it's Lopes 14, Gauchos 12. Powell going with a lineup of Jada Moss, Kennedy Shorts, Lauda Pieta, Deja Daniel, and Ben Lavaris. Pieta sees daylight, puts it up from 8. That one won't go. Rebound to the side, and Lane will capitalize on it. Into the forecourt come the Gauchos. Sahar hands off for Danae Miller. She's been quiet so far. She's their leading scorer on the season, averaging 16 a game. Miller with a dozen on the clock, drives on Varis, now fumbles, loses control. She goes down, and a whistle, a late whistle. And the foul will be called on Varis. But now the concern for the Gauchos is their leading scorer on the season. Miller's up, but favoring that left leg. Not sure if she just banged knees with the Lopes' Van Lavaris. Nevertheless, it'll be a non-shooting foul and a fresh 20 on the shot clock for UCSB. They'll inbound it to the left of their own basket. Gonzalez looking, waiting, gets it out front for Miller. Miller testing that leg. She drives around Moss, and that one is rejected by Moss. But Coco Miller, who's back in, gets the loose ball. No reset on the shot clock. 6 seconds to get a shot off. Here's Johnny Gonzalez. She'll drive on Moss again. Goes up for the shot, and this time able to get it over the outstretched arms of Moss, the 5'10" freshman from Stockton. And on the drive, Gonzalez able to tie the score at 14 apiece. First time we've been tied so far tonight. Here is Moss, sees daylight, drive inside, high arching shot, bound around and dropped through as Moss wound up on the ground and was able to watch it go in right over her. First scoring from the Lopes bench, and it breaks that tie. We're inside of a minute left to go, and an offensive-minded first period for both teams. Miller around a screen. Varis stays with her. Out front for Sahar. Low block Lane. Got the position on Daniel and puts it up and in. And Lane leading the way so far for the Gauchos. 3 field goals and 6 points. And a 30-second timeout is going to be called by Nicole Powell. So we'll step away. 39.4 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And a 16-16 tie right here on GCU TV.
Performance is your profession. You excel in bringing the best out of people. Through leadership and insight, you help others fulfill their promise. You share a unique bond with your family and cherish your time together. But you strive to take the next step in your career. GCU's online degree program in performance psychology will enhance your skills in helping others succeed. Master your craft in an online PhD program that puts innovation and technology at the heart of education. And you can do it all within a tight schedule without disrupting other aspects of your life. With a PhD in performance psychology, you'll have the tools you need to.
Final 35 seconds of the first quarter, and let's see what Nicole Powell diagrammed in that huddle. Lauda Pieta with the ball out front. About 9 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Daniel hands off for Tavia Rowell, who's back in. Off for Pieta. Pieta drive on Gonzalez. Here's a pass to Daniel in the lane. One bounce. Oh, shot wouldn't go. Tough break. Rebound comes down to Tal Sahar. Now it's the Gauchos with a chance to get the final shot with 5 on the game clock and the shot clock off. Gonzalez off for Coco Miller, but as she passed, she was indecisive and took the extra step. Traveling violation will give it back to the Lopes. who have 3.9 seconds to get it quickly up court. So Shorts will inbound right in front of her own bench. Here's Pieta. Pieta off for Rowell. Rowell with 1 second puts up a desperation three that won't go. And we are no closer to finding a victor after 10 minutes than we did at the beginning of the game. End of one here at GCU Arena in the Valley of the Sun in the heart of Phoenix. And we're all knotted up. It's the University of California, Santa Barbara 16 and your GCU Lopes 16. Well, get the best gear to show off your Lopes pride. You can go to lopeshops.gcu.edu right now to find everything GCU, from the newest apparel to the coolest accessories. And yes, you've still got time to order and get it in time for that Lopes fan for Christmas. And you can use promo code GCUTV25 right now and get 25% off for just being a GCU TV viewer. Let's paint the Valley purple. Lopes up. And also a reminder that the main campus location of the Lope Shops is open almost all the way up till Christmas. It is open from 10 to 4 tomorrow, 10 to 7 on Saturday, and then 10 to 4 on Monday, December 23rd before they close from the 24th through the 26th. So you can stop in and get those last-minute holiday gifts for your favorite Lopes fan. Again, 3 campus locations, including one in GCU Arena, but the main one is just south of the Student Union here at the GCU campus at 35th Avenue in Camelback. Well, certainly, Nicole Powell has to be pleased by what the Lopes have shown offensively, especially considering they were 5 of 25 field goal shooting in the first 20 minutes Monday night against UNLV. But a much different story. Both teams, as a matter of fact, 54% from the field. Each team, 7 of 13 from the field. And the Lopes have made both of their 3-point field goal attempts, those courtesy of Tavia Rowell. Ready for the second quarter, and UCSB will start it off with the basketball. Johnny Gonzalez again running the point guard slot. She throws it away as Sahar was inching up to try and get the pass. But Gonzalez, with too much on it, throws it into the cheer squad on the baseline. Lopes start off the second quarter with a lineup of Lauda Pieta, Kennedy Shorts, Ven Lavaris, Tavia Rowell, and Deja Daniel. And Daniel, just like Monday night, has yet to get a breather. Pieta, drive the left side, lob it for Vieira, straight away, open look for three, and that one's an air ball that goes out of bounds, untouched, and it'll be Gaucho basketball. GCU is the 5th and final WAC opponent on the Gauchos schedule this year, and they have split the first 4 games. They beat Utah Valley in their season opener, and then they throttled Chicago State by 40 points as a whistle out front. Varis trying to fight through the screen of Lane and apparently was a little over aggressive and picks up her second personal foul. But as I mentioned, the Gauchos beat Utah Valley and Chicago State. And then they dropped decisions to Cal Baptist. That was in double overtime a couple of weeks ago. And then the aforementioned last loss, which was this past weekend against CSU Bakersfield. Bakersfield will be the Lopes' opening conference opponent in a couple of weeks. We'll talk more about that as we move on through the game. Gauchos with the basketball. Gonzalez around a hard screen set by Lane, but Jada Holland, who's back in there, fights through it. Here's Coco Miller, 4 on the shot clock. She'll drive, force up a shot, doesn't go, but she's going to get bailed out. She got the first step on Jada Moss, and official Felicity Willis will call the second team foul of the quarter on the Lopes, and that being on Moss. Miller, a little shaken up as she went down hard on that exchange. And walking a little gingerly to the free throw line as she was fouled in the act of shooting. Bonnie Hendrickson talking with her backup point guard Johnny Gonzalez as Miller goes to the line, and the first free throw is not good. Miller on the season a 73% free throw shooter. And normally the Gauchos pretty steady from the line as Miller makes 1 of 2. They shoot 68% from the stripe on the season. 1 point Gaucho lead. Lopes with the basketball. Holland come around to Daniel screen, keeps coming, and then has her pocket picked by Coco Miller as she was going by. Miller with a defensive gem, brings it into the attacking zone. In the corner, here's Gonzalez, high arching three too hard, and the rebound tipped out of bounds. And they say it was last touched by the Lopes' Jada Holland. So still 20 seconds now on the shot clock for Santa Barbara. Inbound to Lane, they get it out for Johnny Gonzalez. Gonzalez looking inside, they spread the floor, give it off from Miller. Miller, bounce pass, low block, and Lane is normally deadly from there. Can't get the shot to go, and a great play by Kennedy Shorts. Lane tried to take the ball out of her hands, but Shorts, even though she was going down, held on to that defensive rebound. Holland stopped the dribble on the elbow. Has to try and find somebody to get rid of it. Gives it to Moss. Drive the baseline. Lob out front. There's Rowell. She'll square and fire for three. That one won't go. Long rebound. And Lane comes down with it. Here comes UCSB. In the corner. Open look. Coco Miller for three. Got it. 6 points now for Miller. And this is the largest lead that the Gauchos have had so far tonight. Little over 2 minutes gone by. 7:40 left to go before halftime. Moss with the ball out front. Lauda Pieta gets the warm-ups off. She'll check in for GCU next time it's dead. Here's Holland out front. Jado coming off that 18-point performance Monday night has not gotten into the scoring column yet. 4 on the shot clock. She'll stop, she'll fake, she'll shoot. That one won't go from about 8 feet. Gauchos doing a good job defensively, and they'll come down trying to extend this 4-point lead. Out front, Tal Sahar. Nicole Powell screaming out defensive instructions for her team. Inside, Lauren Lee, who's back in there. Give it to Gonzalez. Got the first step on Holland, but Holland comes from behind and swats it out of her hands as she goes up. Nice block shot. Here come the Lopes on the attack. Holland looking inside. Daniel sets up there. Holland can't get it to her from the moment. Now Daniel comes out to help out with the screen. Holland stopped the dribble. Here's Rowell. 10 seconds for the Lopes to get a shot up. Daniel, turn around, drive on Lane, put up the shot, and they'll wave it off. Traveling violation called on the Lopes center. That was probably the most aggressive offensive move Deja's done so far, but shuffled the feet as she felt the contact from Lane. Lauda Pieta will check back in along with fellow Spaniard Carla Balaguer. And Daniel will get her first breather. It comes with 6:34 left to go before halftime. And Shorts will join her on the Lopes sideline. So Pieta now covering Gonzalez. Pieta staying with her as Gonzalez wanted to use a screen, couldn't do it. Out front now is Alicia Hernandez, who's back in there. Here's a three-pointer put up, and Sahar coming off the bench now with 6 points. And the Gauchos, with their biggest breathing room so far of the evening, they lead 23-16. Lopes have gone cold to start off this second quarter. Pieta comes around a hard Balaguer screen. Springs her free, give it to Holland. She'll square and fire for three, in and out. Balaguer able to take the offensive board away from two Gauchos. Gives it to the cutting Holland. She'll move to the hoop for two. Nice play moving without the ball by the freshman point guard Jada Holland. And she's rewarded with her first scoring of the night. Now the Lopes have to put the clamps on defensively. Gonzalez around the screen from Lane. Keeps coming. Gives it off out front. Sahar again for three, and again she got it. Tal Sahar at all of 5'11", showing the prowess from outside the arc, and now with 9 points to lead the way. 26-18, Gauchos extend the lead. Pieta on the drive, throws up a desperation shot, doesn't go, but she's rewarded with the whistle. Contact coming from Celeste Salazar, who just checked into the UCSB lineup a moment ago. So that will send Lauda Pieta to the bench. And Megan Armiston now also making her first appearance in the Gauchos lineup. Armiston, 6'3" sophomore from Murrieta, California, as Pieta goes to the line. And the first free throw of the night for the point guard is good, and she buries them both. Lopes trailing by 6 as we near the midpoint of this second quarter. Jim Howe, glad you're with us. Middle of the 3-game homestand here from GCU Arena. Lopes will finish it off on Sunday afternoon, and that's after Dan Marley's men's team takes center stage on Saturday night. Shot out front, won't go from Sahar, and the rebound out to Balagay. Here come the Lopes with a chance to cut it to possibly a one-score game. Rao with the ball out front. Dribbles around a screen, give it to Holland. Wide open for 3, but that won't go. Balagay had the rebound, fumbled it away, and Armiston takes it away for UCSB. Here's Coco Miller down the left side. Hands off. Bringing it out front is Alicia Hernandez. Here's Salazar, now for Coco Miller. Good ball movement by the Gauchos. Miller keeps coming. Pieta staying with her. Hernandez forces up the shot and gets it. Pieta frustrated, but I'm not sure what more she could have done as she stayed right in the mug of Coco Miller, who now has 8 points. And the Gauchos continuing the hot start to this quarter. They've outscored GCU 12-4 in the first 6 minutes. Holland on the drive. Stop. Pass in the corner. Varis alone for 3, won't go. And the rebound battle underneath between Armiston and Balagay results in a loose ball foul, and foul number 2 on the Lopes power forward, Carla Balagay. So the Lopes only with 5 fouls, but they already have 2. Varis and Balagay with 2 fouls each. Timeout on the floor. 3:47 left to go before the half. It's UCSB 28, your Lopes 20, right here on GCU TV.
Curiosity fuels you. So when you're ready for a fulfilling new career, let your curiosity fuel that change. Grand Canyon University's online degree programs in technology make it convenient for you to achieve your dream. GCU teaches you how to plan for innovation. By applying that knowledge to today's most challenging problems, you're helping to build a better tomorrow. Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
So far, it's been a tale of 2 quarters offensively for the Lopes. Red hot from the field in the first quarter, shooting over 50%, 7 of 13, but so far in this first 6 minutes and 13 seconds of the second quarter, they fired up 7 shot attempts and made just 1. Conversely, Santa Barbara continuing to be hot from the field, 7 of 13 in the first quarter, and so far 50%, 4 of 8 shooting in the second quarter, and that's why the Gauchos have their largest lead of the game at 28-20. Well, as I mentioned before the break, 2 more games in this holiday homestand for basketball here at GCU Arena Saturday night. Eastern Illinois comes to town to battle Dan Marley's men's basketball team. That'll be a 6 p.m. start this Saturday. You can catch that on Fox 10 Extra and 1580 The Fanatic on radio. And then Sunday afternoon with a 2 p.m. tip-off, these same Lopes women will wind up this homestand against Division III Whittier College. The Lopes and Poets tipping off at 2 p.m. again. That's this Sunday, December 22nd. And that'll wind up the home action for basketball for the 2019 calendar year before conference play begins on January 4th. We'll talk more about that later. Gauchos with the ball. Driving in is Sahar. Put up the shot over Daniel and get it to go. And Sahar turning and twisting to get that one in. And Sahar off the bench has been a spark plug. She's got 11 points. And it's a double-digit lead for the first time tonight. Varis alone for 3. Well, Venla had missed her first 2 shot attempts from behind the arc, but that timeout did her good. She's in the scoring column, and it's 30-23. Pass to Sahar. She's had the hot hand, and she continues it with the baseline jumper. And Sahar with 13 points. We're inside of 3 minutes left to go, and it's a 9-point Gaucho lead. Holland will walk it out of backcourt this time for the home team. Holland To Daniel at the top of the key. Swing for Pieta. Thought about the three, instead passes it up. Comes around a screen, still doesn't want the shot. Give it to Holland with 12 on the shot clock. Holland waiting for a Daniel screen, goes away from it. Now double team, throws it in the corner. There's Varis again. Three-pointer this time, rolls off. Rebound down to Lane. Here's Coco Miller driving on Piera. Force up the shot. Pieta gets a hand on it, and it will bounce on the baseline, but they say it was last touched by the Gauchos' Coco Miller. So great defense by the Lopes sophomore point guard Lada Pieta, and that will result in the Lopes getting the ball back. 2:22 left to go before halftime, and the Lopes could use a mini rally to try and get closer before the half. Holland in the forecourt, off for Deja Daniel. Fake the handoff, waits for Pieta to come get it. Lauda again looking but not shooting. Now lobs in for Daniel. Daniel muscles in, puts up the shot. Oh, wouldn't go. That's her patented move, but it went off the glass and then off the back of the iron. Here's Coco Miller in the forecourt for UCSB. Off for Sahar. Sahar double team, line drive shot, bound around and off, and a little help defense like we talked about in the three keys to the game, got her off of rhythm. Here's Rowell, drive in, put up the shot, won't go. She drove around Sahar, and then as Tall tried to make up the ground, she hacked her on the arm. So good transition that time by GCU, and Rowell will head to the line for the first time tonight. So Rowell, the Canadian native, puts up the first free throw and gets it. Rowell set the tone early with a pair of three-pointers early in the first quarter, but this is her first scoring since. 2 for 2 from the line. The Lopes are 4 of 5 overall from the stripe. And the deficit is back to a touchdown at 32-25. Coco Miller with the ball way out front. Holland with the defensive assignment on her. One bounce, handoff for Sahar, and Varis extending that defense. In fact, the Lopes are doing it in unison. Here's Johnny Gonzalez. Out front, here's Alicia Hernandez, and pulls the trigger from three and gets it. Back to a 10-point lead as Hernandez now with 2 3-point goals. Rowell with an open look, but the three-pointers off the front of the iron. Long rebound down to the Gauchos. Hernandez thought about it, almost traveled, give it back up for Sahar. Varis with a hand in her face. Sahar trying to move on Varis, gets the step, now goes in, has her shot blocked by Daniel. Goes to the floor, here comes Holland. Lopes quickly out of backcourt. Rowell cross court. Here's Pieta, sees daylight. Leap and leaner from 6, won't go. Fighting for her own rebound, but Lane able to take it away. Inside of a minute left to go here in the first half. About 15 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. That one poked away. Gonzalez has to go back to the backcourt. Still 12 seconds on the shot clock for UC Santa Barbara. Gonzalez now runs into her own teammate and bangs into the sideline. She and Hernandez not on the same page, and when Gonzalez tried to control the ball, she stepped on the sideline. So the Lopes get a gift. Now the shot clock is off. They can go for the final shot of the half. They still have 22 seconds to do it. And Holland will call out a set play. Now takes an extra look at her head coach as she goes to the opposite side of the floor. Still a dozen seconds left to get a shot up. Here's Daniel out front for Holland. Now 8, now 7. Pieta waiting for somebody to move, comes around, lobs for Daniel, has it knocked away, gets it back with 2 seconds, puts it up and in with 1. And that's the way the first half will end. The Lopes will go in with an 8-point deficit, but at least get the momentum and get the second field goal on the night from Deja Daniel to cut the lead for UCSB into single digits. Well, 20 down, 20 left to go in the second game of this 3-game homestand. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with the second half as well as our Canyon State Credit Union stats. Halftime here from GCU Arena on the Grand Canyon University campus in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Here's your halftime score. The Gauchos of the University of California, Santa Barbara, 35, and your Grand Canyon University Lopes, 27. Back with the second half after this. You are watching Lopes Women's Basketball on GCU TV. Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena. Hope you are all enjoying your holiday break. If you're Lopes fans, if you're Lopes players, if you're Lopes family, we hope you're enjoying the holiday break and glad you have decided to take this ride with us on this rather chilly Thursday night, at least for Phoenix standards. And unfortunately, while it wasn't chilly field goal shooting wise in the first quarter for the Lopes, it certainly was in the second, as we take a look at the Canyon State halftime stats, brought to you as always by Canyon State Credit Union. Both teams were identical in that first quarter, 7 of 13 field goal shooting. Unfortunately, the Lopes, thanks to some increased defense by the Gauchos, lopped off. They were only 3 of 13 shooting from the second quarter, and their percentage has dropped down to 39%. Meanwhile, UCSB staying consistent, shot 53% from the field in the first quarter and an even 50% in the second. Now, Nicole Powell will certainly be pleased about that second stat, because the Lopes at this time Monday night had nearly 20 turnovers for the first half alone. They have only 5, and they've done a better job of taking care of the basketball. 3-point field goal shooting has certainly been feast or famine so far for the Lopes. Tavia Rowell hit two threes in the first 3 minutes of the ball game, but after that, Van Lavares' 3 midway through the second quarter was all they had to account for that. And certainly, considering that they were able to own the rebounding stat Monday night against UNLV, a team that normally averages 42 rebounds a game, they knew they had to do much the same thing against UCSB, because UCSB almost has identical rebounding stats to the Rebels. They average just over 41 boards a game, and right now they're acting like it, because they've out-rebounded the Lopes 18-12, much of that courtesy of the starting center, Isla Lane, who has 6 points and 8 boards for the Gauchos here at halftime. And the bench points is also a significant stat to talk about, because UCSB has outscored GCU on their bench help 15-5, but much of that courtesy of Tal Sahar. The senior from Tarzana only played 14 minutes in that first half, but was 5 of 8 from the field, made both of her 3-point shots, and has 13 points to lead the way and lead all scorers. Second half is underway, and the Lopes with the ball. They trail 35-27, and they'll move from right to left across your GCU TV screen here in half number 2. Here's Pieta on the drive aggressively, but can't get the shot to go. And boxing out again is Isla Lane for rebound number 9 for UC Santa Barbara. And here come the Gauchos in their road royal blue, trimmed in gold and white. Lopes in their traditional home white, trimmed in gray and purple. Danae Miller, their leading scorer on the season, averaging 16 points a game. How many points does she have? Well, look at her jersey number. She has not gotten into the scoring column yet. Lane has picked up the slack, but that left-handed hook won't go. Trying to get 8 points on the night, the big center. So both teams coming up empty on their initial offensive forays to start half number 2. Lopes could use a rally like they had to start the second half Monday night against UNLV right here. 12 on the shot clock. Holland, cross court for Pieta. 3-pointer looked good, but it's short. And the Lopes now 3 of 11 from 3-point range. Here is Danae Miller. Pieta cuts her off. Give it off for Coco Miller. Miller had a big second quarter. 6 of her 8 points coming in that second stanza. Here's Lane again. Double team, forces up the shot. It won't go, and Daniel ripping that ball out of the hands of Coco Miller for the defensive board. Lopes need more of that. So both teams scoreless here in the first 90 seconds of half number 2. Carla Balagay off for Tavia Rowell. Rowell waiting for the interior to get set. Lobs for Piera. Shot clock at 10. Piera stopped the dribble, give it to Balagay. Low block Daniels, spin to the left, put up the shot with the left hand, it won't go. And Lane now in double figures. She has 10 boards as she rips that one down. Miller in the front court. Stutter step. Pieta again with great defense so far on the junior from Carson, California. Inside to Lane, and coming over to help out was Rowell, trying to take it out of her hands, which is tough to do when Rowell at 5'10 is trying to rip it out of the hands of Lane, who is at 6'4 and waving it above her head. And because of that, Tavia will pick up her first personal foul. It'll be a non-shooting foul. And the Gauchos will inbound. Now, before it can be inbounded, Deja Daniel gets tangled up with Lane, and Daniel will pick up the foul. So in the span of no time at all off the clock. 2 quick team fouls for the Lopes. Again, the Gauchos inbound. Danae Miller with a fresh shot clock. Off for Alicia Hernandez. Low block. Here's Lane muscling in. And Daniel held her ground. Blocked the shot and got the rebound to boot. Nice play by the senior center. Here's Holland. Holland keeps coming. Stop. Give it to the trailer. Daniel out for Rowell. Good ball movement this time by the Lopes. Balagay muscling her way in. Goes to the hoop. Oh, couldn't get the shot to go. Got the step on Lauren Lee, but couldn't finish it off. Still scoreless. Both teams in the first 2.5 minutes. Here's Danae Miller. She'll stop and pop, but the 12-footer short. Gets her own rebound. Decides to bring it back out. Alicia Hernandez straight away for 3. That misses the iron. And Deja Daniel starting to get more involved in the rebounding battle. She now has 5. Pieta says, let's slow it down as she crosses the time stripe. Here's Daniel on the high post. Balagay now muscling for position inside. That's quite a battle between her and Lee, and apparently too much of a battle as Felicity Willis calls the foul on Balagay, and that is 3 personals on the Lopes sophomore forward from Barcelona. Balagay's going to stay in the game. Nicole Powell instead decides she wants Tavia Rowell to head to the bench. And Ven Lavares will have the defensive assignment as she checks in on Alicia Hernandez. That's 3-point shooter against 3-point shooter. Here's Coco Miller out front. Gives it to Miller. Pieta right in her mug. Now Miller tries with the behind-the-back dribble, and Pieta won't have any of it. Gets it back. Off for Lee. Low block lane. Turnaround hook shot won't go. Rebound scramble. Out of bounds. Down on the floor is Danae Miller. Make that Lauren Lee, and the ball heads the other way for GCU. So it's now a 3.5-minute scoring drought here in quarter number 3. And the Lopes could desperately use a hoop, trailing by 8. Pieta comes out to get the basketball, hands off for Varis as the Lopes go into the weave, and then Holland is bumped, loses the ball, no harm, no foul, gets it back, now drives on Coco Miller, crashes in to the defender inside, that being Lauren Lee, and the blocking foul will be called on the sophomore from River Forest, Illinois, Lauren Lee. First team foul on the Gauchos. Lopes already with 3 here in the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. And Jada Holland, who has been quiet offensively after that 18-point night against UNLV, heads to the line for the first time on the evening. And the first free throw bounds around and drops through. Lopes doing a good job from the stripe. Now 5 of 6 free throw shooting. Conversely, UCSB 2 of 3. So the lid officially off the basket, at least on the Lopes side. And Holland makes them both. And it's 35-29 down to a 2-possession game. Gauchos have led by as many as 10. Lopes' biggest lead was 5. That was midway through the first quarter. Out front, Alicia Hernandez with that heavy knee brace. Nice pass inside to Isla Lane. Had the position and puts it up off the glass and in. Lane now with 4 field goals and 8 points. And it's back to an 8-point Lopes deficit. Varis being pressured by Danae Miller out front. Hands off for Jada Holland. Again, the Lopes going into the weave. Now Pierta drives inside. No-look pass for Holland. Gets Hernandez up in the air. Moves inside and buries the 14-footer Jada Holland. So the freshman from Pleasanton, California, is starting to warm up offensively, and the Lopes need more of that as they trail by 6. Coco Miller on the drive. Holland stays right with her. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez with 13 on the shot clock, in for Lane. Lane one bounce, go to the hoop and score, and that has been the bread and butter in the first and third quarter for the UCSB offense. And Bonnie Hendrickson, the 5-year head coach, going to the well again as Lane now has a double-double with 10 points and 12 boards. And Varis make that Pieta knocked down out by the midcourt line. And Lauda's still down as her teammates tend to her. Time out on the floor as Pieta now comes up holding her left wrist. We'll check on that during the break. 4:58 left to go, third quarter. It's UCSB 39, GCU 31. Keep it here for more Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
I'm Courtney, and I'm earning a master's online at GCU in Christian ministry. My husband is in the military, so we move a lot. I really wanted a school that would support me no matter where I lived, and GCU was a great fit for that because although it's a rigorous program, I really enjoy that I get to do it on my time. Sometimes that's at a coffee shop, sometimes it's in my office. Faith is a big part of my life. I play violin in my church, and I get to express my gifts and worship God. I pray continually, and I just really try to seek God. I really wanted to go to a school that could highlight that and worship God freely, and GCU definitely gave me the platform to do that. Being an online learner at GCU, I've really made a personal investment in my own life that is giving me such confidence to go into my field, not only to become an expert, but be a change agent for the world.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena, and so far dead even in a offensively challenged third quarter. We have played half of the quarter in each team with only 4 points, and so the Gauchos maintaining their lead. Let's check out the upcoming schedule. It's brought to you by BSN, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country. And this homestand concludes for the Lopes women's team this Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. as they'll take on the Poets of Whittier College. But before that, it'll be the annual GCU Christmas party on Saturday night as Dan Marley's men's basketball team hoping to get back on the winning track this Saturday night, December the 21st, as they will host Eastern Illinois, another tough non-conference test for Dan Marley's boys. That'll be, again, a 6 p.m. tip-off this Saturday. Hope you will be in attendance. If not, you can catch all those games right here on GCU TV. Lopes with the basketball. Jada Holland with the ball out front. Off for Carla Balagay, again playing with those 3 personal fouls. Inside for Daniel. The spin. The shot won't go. Follow and score. Deja Daniel, who had missed her first 2 field goal attempts of the quarter. Not to be denied that time. Daniel was 6, and the Lopes back within 6 themselves at 39-33. Out front, Alicia Hernandez trying to get it in for Lane, but Lane was leaning the other way. Good defense by Daniel, and it's off Lane's fingertips out of bounds. Lopes with a lineup of Ven Lavaris, Jada Moss, Deja Daniel, Carla Balagay, and the lady with the basketball, Jada Holland. Hand off for Daniel at the high post. Back for Jada. Back up. Going to fire a 3. That one high off the back of the rim and drops through. So Holland now with 7 of her 9 points here in the second half, and the Lopes are back to within 3. This is the closest they've been since midway through the second quarter. Coco Miller with the ball out front. She's been quiet after a good first half. Lauren Lee yet to get in the scoring column. They don't look at her for offense that much. Instead, they give it for Coco Miller. Her shot doesn't go, but she knocks the rebound out of the hands of the Lopes, gets it to Lane. Lane fumbles, saves it from going out of bounds. Out front is Hernandez, 3-pointer in and out. Lane sneaks in, gets the offensive board, follows and scores. Isla Lane, who was on her stomach on the sideline, had the time to come back and grab that rebound out of the air and put it back up and in. And a timeout on the floor with 3:34 left to go third quarter, but the Lopes trying to chip away. It's UCSB 41 and GCU 36 right here on GCU TV.
You use the latest technology to treat patients, but your care and compassion is timeless. And as an RN, you delight in sharing it. But there's always room to grow. Advancing your career means helping more patients and providing even more care. Grand Canyon University's online programs in nursing make it convenient for you to become the expert every patient deserves. Healthcare has made significant advancements, and GCU teaches you how to prepare for the future. By applying that knowledge, you're able to stay up to date with the latest medical technologies. And since GCU's nursing programs are online, you can access your program from anywhere, so you're always there for those most important.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Well, it's been the senior and the freshman so far that have done the job offensively for the visiting Gauchos of UCSB. Tal Sahar, the 5'11 senior from Tarzana, came in that second quarter and really provided a spark as the Gauchos built a double-digit lead. She has 13 points, and she was leading the way at halftime. And now Isla Lane has joined her, the freshman starting center from Moraga. 6 points in the first quarter, and now 6 points on 3 of 5 field goal shooting here in the second, and she's got a double-double, 12 points, 14 boards for the Gauchos, who are hanging on to a 5-point lead. They've led by as many as 10. Meanwhile, Jada Holland right now, the straw that stirs the offensive drink for Grand Canyon. She has 7 points in this quarter and 9 on the game to lead the way. Tavia Rowell has 8, all of those coming in half number 1. Deja Daniel also starting to warm up. She's got 6 points and she's got 7 boards for the Lopes, who have the ball trailing 41-36. Carla Balagay now drives inside, forces up the shot, doesn't go, and a blocking foul is called. And I'm sure that's probably a sigh of relief from Nicole Powell, the third-year head coach for GCU, because Balagay running the risk of picking up that 4th personal foul. But nevertheless, Balagay will be rewarded, heading to the line for a pair. First free throws of the night coming for Balagay, and the first one not good. That's only the second free throw missed by the Lopes in 7 attempts. Make that 8 attempts tonight. Foul, by the way, was on Coco Miller, who was also called for that foul right before the timeout on Lauda Pieta near midcourt. So Coco now with 2 personal fouls. She has the ball with her Gauchos leading by 4. Danae Miller comes out to get the basketball, covered by Jada Moss in a switch. Now for Alicia Hernandez. Nearing the 3-minute mark, as here's Sahar. Tal Sahar, who had that hot quarter in the second. Into Lane, they keep going to her, and she keeps rewarding him as that one rolled around and around and finally dropped in. 14 and 14 for Lane, back to a 6-point Gaucho edge. Holland off for Daniel, turn around and face the hoop on Lane. Back for Holland. Holland sheds Miller, puts up the shot, it's short. Doesn't draw iron and hits the out-of-bounds line. So a turnover sends it back to the Gauchos with a lineup of Danae Miller, Alicia Hernandez, Tal Sahar, Coco Miller, and the hot one in the middle, Isla Lane, with 8 of her 14 points here in this quarter. Here's Miller, make that Sahar. That shot won't go, but Lane again with another rebound. Lob over the top. Holland comes over for weak side help. Lane gets it anyway. Saves it for Hernandez. Then her cross-court pass knocked away. Holland tried to go for the steal. Miller got in her way. But no harm, no foul as the ball goes out in backcourt. And the Gauchos will get a break. No reset on the shot clock. So with 2:11 left to go in the third, and the shot clock at 9, it's Coco Miller inbounding it in backcourt. Here's Danae Miller, who sees that shot clock. Comes around to Lane's screen. Stop at the free throw line. 15-footer won't go. Still cold. Miller has yet to get in the scoring column. She averages 16 on the night. Holland around a screen. Stop. Throws it for Daniel, but threw it behind her, and it's right into the lap of Sahar. On the break for Coco Miller, and puts it up with the left hand and in. Costly turnover that time, and a miscommunication by the point guard in the center for GCU. And after the Lopes had cut it to 4, the Gauchos have doubled that. And Nicole Powell wants to talk about it. $1:38 left to go. 30-second timeout called by the Lopes. And it's 45-37 UCSB right here on GCU TV.
I'm earning my PhD online at GCU. Pursuing my PhD online at Grand Canyon University is a huge investment into my future. I'm also learning critical thinking and problem-solving skills that I can apply to every facet of my life. When you are working, going to school, balance is key. I really try to practice what I preach to my students. As an online faculty member, I stress the importance of time management, and I demonstrate that by example. A Christian worldview is important to me in all facets of my life because
Nicole Powell, even though her team has stayed with UCSB offensively in this quarter, each team scoring 10 points. Not happy with the offensive production and trying to diagram a play that'll work here. Here's Laura Pieta, who's back in the lineup around a Daniel screen. Open look, 15-footer. That's a line drive, but it's short. And Alicia Hernandez comes down with a Gaucho defensive rebound. Open look, Coco Miller for three, got it. This team doesn't necessarily shoot the three that well percentage-wise, but they are certainly not bashful. And that is now the 6th three-point goal converted. Here's Pieta on the drive. Sahar gets a hand on it and blocks the shot. Gauchos come the other way with an 11-point edge and trying to add more. Danae Miller cut off inside the final minute of this third quarter. Here's Hernandez. They keep trying to work it in for Lane, and Daniel fronting her at the moment. They spread the floor with 40 seconds left to go in the quarter. Miller driving on Moss, keeps coming, throws it in the corner, and it's intercepted beautifully by Laura Pieta. Nice play, anticipating the pass by the Spaniard. 5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Lopes with the basketball in the final half minute. They need a hoop here. They trail by 11. That is UCSB's largest cushion. Daniel with 10 on the shot clock. Low block for Balagay. The spin, the shot, it's good. And it's hard to defend that when you give Carla Balagay a shot that deep in the hole. 5 seconds to go. Open look. Hernandez, three won't go. Rebound tapped around. Miller will put it up at the buzzer. That one won't go. And that will do it for 3 quarters of basketball here at GCU Arena. And the Lopes with some work to do to try and keep their winning ways going. End of 3 here from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. And here is your third quarter score. The UCSB Gauchos 48 and your GCU Lopes 39. Well, enjoy coffee, tea, and smoothies from Grand Canyon's own GCBC. You know what that is. That's the Grand Canyon Beverage Company. It's open in 4 different locations. The GCU Student Union, right in the middle of campus, as well as Roadrunner and Diamondback Apartments, and even their location inside GCU Hotel right next to Canyon 49. The home of the Stampede and the Lightning Gold Brew, GCBC with 4 campus locations. Well, the Lopes still struggling from the field, shooting 37%, 14 out of 38. And that UCSB defense, part of the problem. But the GCU defense has started to make a difference here in this second half, as UCSB struggling a bit offensively in that third quarter, and they're down to 45% on the night, 20 out of 44. Each team has put up 12 three-point attempts, and the Gauchos have made half of theirs. The Lopes have made 4 of their 12. The rebounding is still a problem for the Lopes, as they've been out-rebounded 30-19 and have got to try and stop some of those extra shots that the Gauchos have got, courtesy of their 9 offensive rebounds. Lopes come out with a lineup of Ben Lavaris, Laura Pieta, Carla Balagay, Deja Daniel, and Jada Holland, and the Gauchos with the ball and a 9-point edge to start this fourth quarter. Coco Miller, Tal Sahar, Isla Lane, Danae Miller, and Alicia Hernandez, all offensive-minded scorers on the floor for Bonnie Hendrickson's Gauchos. Sahar fumbles, gets it back, drives in, throws it out front, and Holland, just doing her job, ran right into the pass. Holland will come down. They don't put a body on her, but she can't get the shot to go. Balagay able to swoop in, get the offensive board, and now the Lopes will run a set offense here in their first offensive set of the fourth quarter. Tried to get it inside, but Lane anticipated the pass intended for Daniel and makes the steal. Miller out front, three-pointer won't go. Holland able to take the rebound away from Isla Lane. Jada wants to push the ball out of backcourt. She'll stop and pop again. This time finds the range from about 11 feet. So Jada Holland now in double figures with 11. Down to a 7-point Lopes deficit in the second minute of the fourth quarter. Danae Miller on the right arc. Stop, lob in for Lane. Lane turns, looks at Daniel. Now back to the basket again. Back for Danae Miller. They don't want to get her heated up. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Low block Lane, go to the hoop, shot won't go. Good defense by Daniel, Holland with a rebound. Again, Jada wants to push it straight down the middle. Off for Pieta. Thought about the pass for Balagay, but the Gauchos get back defensively. Give it to Holland, three-pointer won't go. Long rebound, Danae Miller scoops it up for the Gauchos. Missed opportunity for the Lopes. And Nicole Powell with arms crossed, watching the action in front of her GCU bench. Danae Miller around a lane screen. Balagay covering her in a switch. They play catch out front. Miller, open look, three-pointer, that still won't go. And Daniel able to get both hands on the defensive board. Lopes again with a chance to make it a two-possession game as Holland calls out a set play. Top of the key for Deja Daniel. Back for Holland. Holland low block Balagay. Double team, splits it. Can't get the shot to go though. Good defense that time by the Gauchos interior defense. And UCSB with the ball on the attack. Danae Miller picked up by Pieta, and Lada has won that battle most of the night. Miller keeps on coming, looking for room. Pieta doesn't give her any. Give her to Coco Miller. She'll drive in, put up the shot, bound around and off, gets her own rebound, follows. That one won't go. But Miller's tenacity will be rewarded with free throws as Jada Holland picks up the foul. So Coco Miller, who has been pretty active offensively in the last few minutes, heading to the line. She has 13 points on the evening. Kennedy Shorts, Tavia Rao back into the Lopes lineup. Balagay and Varis will sit down. And meanwhile, Coco Miller trying to add to this Gaucho lead. Coco's first free throw is good. She's now 2 of 3 from the line so far tonight. And the native of San Clemente, California, gets it back for one more and converts. Gauchos 50, Lopes 41. Nearly 3 minutes elapsed here in the final stanza. Lopes trying to send the Gauchos to their third straight loss on the season. Both teams 2 games under 500 entering the night. Holland gets it for Daniel on the pick and roll. Force up the shot. Count if it goes, no. But a whistle will send Daniel to the free throw line. That foul called on UCSB's Lauren Lee, to the disdain of her head coach across the way, Bonnie Henriksen. And Daniel to the line for the second time tonight. She's missed her only attempt. That was back in the first quarter. First free throw's good. Daniel, 7 points, 9 rebounds. And as she has done the last few games, logging the most minutes of anybody wearing the purple of GCU. Both free throws good by Daniel. And it's 50-43. Lopes have gotten as close as 4 in this second half, but no closer. Here is Coco Miller. Fake the 3, drive on Pieta, and got the first step. Knocked down Lauda, and Pieta will pick up her first personal foul. That'll be a non-shooting foul, and Miller will inbound it just to the right of her own bench and just to the left of her head coach, Bonnie Henriksen. Miller to Miller. That's Coco to Danae. Danae again being covered by Pieta. Now sheds her, and Rowell will pick her up. Gets it to Megan Ormiston, who's in there. Gives it back for Miller. Force up a desperation shot, won't go. And good defensive box outs by the Lopes, gets the rebound. Now the Lopes need some points. Holland being bothered by Gonzalez, drives around her, goes to the hoop, shot won't go. Late whistle though. And on the help defense, Holland is going to get free throws as Lauren Lee came over but picked up her third. So Lee, the first one on the UCSB side to hit the 3-foul plateau. Balagay has been carrying 3 personal fouls for over a quarter for the Lopes. Holland back to the line. First free throw's good. And after a very quiet first half, Jada now in rhythm with 12 points on the night, 10 of them after halftime, make it 11. Both free throws good. And the lead is down to 5 as Isla Lane got a very quick breather on that Gaucho bench. She'll check back in for Armiston. Lane on the night, 14 points, 16 rebounds. Here's Danae Miller, comes around the aforementioned Lane. Pieta fights through it, off for Coco Miller. Drive the base, keeps coming. Blocked by Rowell. Making up the ground in a hurry. Out of bounds, possession Santa Barbara. Still 16 seconds on the UCSB shot clock. 6:05 left to go in regulation. It'll be Johnny Gonzalez, the backup point guard, inbounding underneath. Looking, waiting, gets it for Danae Miller, who sprung free. Scoops it for Lane as the defense converged. Fumbles, gets it back. Shot clock at 10. Cross court for Danae Miller. Looking for room. Drives the base, now cut off. Has to save it for Lee. Shot clock at 2. Gonzalez will put up a desperation 3, won't go. Long rebound up for grabs. Daniel tips it to Holland. Now the Lopes have numbers. 3-on-1. It's Holland to the trailer. That's Pieta. Shot is short. Tough break. Lopes had the numbers, just could not convert. Missed opportunity there, and the Gauchos now trying to capitalize on their time down the floor. Here's Coco Miller outside the arc. Straight away for Lauren Lee. They back off of her as she is not one that really gets into the flow of the offense. Gonzalez cut off, 6 on the shot clock. Here's Lee out front. Cross court, here's Miller. Coco open for 3, and she got it. The Lopes sagged defensively and had everything their way for the first 27 seconds of the shot clock, but they left Miller alone, and she has burned them several times from outside. Coco now 3 of 4 from three-point range. Holland cut off. Gets it for Daniel in the paint. Lob inside for Shorts, and as she brought down the pass, a whistle inside. That will be a foul on the Gauchos. Johnny Gonzalez, who was forced to cover Shorts in a switch, and that was actually the matchup that Nicole Powell was shooting for. Timeout on the floor, so we'll take one. 4:47 left to go in regulation, and the Lopes still looking up on the scoreboard at UCSB. It's the Gauchos 53, Lopes 45 right here on GCU TV.
Curiosity fuels you. So when you're ready for a fulfilling new career, let your curiosity fuel that change. Grand Canyon University's online degree programs in technology make it convenient for you to achieve your dream. GCU teaches you how to plan for innovation. By applying that knowledge to today's most challenging problems, you're helping to build a better tomorrow. Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
One of our Sanderson 4-3 keys to the game at the beginning of the game was talking about that the third was the charm. Not the third time, but the third quarter, because coming into the game, the Lopes had used the third quarter to battle back from a deficit Monday night against UNLV, and that was enough to get them that 53-51 win. Conversely, the Gauchos of UCSB had been doomed by bad third periods in the last 2 games, both of them resulting in losses to the University of Pacific and then this weekend to CSU Bakersfield. But the third was the charm, and unfortunately it wasn't for the Lopes, as they were outscored 13-12, but really struggled offensively, and UCSB able to maintain the lead. They have led since midway through the second quarter. They've led by as many as 11, and the lead right now is at 8. Again, looking ahead this Saturday, Dan Marley's team, who dropped their 9th loss of the season 2 nights ago at the Pit in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the very tough New Mexico Lobos 91-71. They'll be back here for a 6 p.m. tip-off this Saturday night, December the 21st against Eastern Illinois. And then just a few hours later, 2 p.m. tip-off Sunday afternoon for these same Lopes women, taking on Whittier College from California. Lopes with the basketball. Pieta will inbound it underneath her own bucket, and she'll lob it to the side for Daniel. Back for Pieta, stop in the lane, almost travel. Gets it off for Jada Holland, who wants to spread the floor. 4:40 left to go, Lopes trailing by 8. Holland around a screen. Stop. Give it off for Pieta. Pieta drive around Miller. Little leap and leaner in the lane won't go. Daniel gets the rebound, and as she tried to go back up, Isla Lane stuck out the hip and picked up the foul. That's her second. More importantly, though, that is 4 team fouls on the Gauchos. And the Lopes, who have been impressive from the line so far tonight, 11 out of 13 will go to the line the next time the Gauchos commit an infraction. This time it's a non-shooting foul again as Holland gets it on the side. Fresh shot clock for Grand Canyon. Holland, drive inside, put it up. That one off the back of the iron. Nice rebound. Kennedy Shorts goes back up and scores. First scoring of the night for the 6'1" sophomore from Long Beach, and it couldn't have come at a better time. 6-point Lopes deficit as we near the 4-minute mark. Danae Miller around a screen, keeps coming. Kennedy Shorts blocks the shot. Shorts coming to play. Let's see if the Lopes can take advantage of it on the other end. Danae Miller still without a point. Again, she averages 16 on the season. Holland around a screen, stop the dribble. Now finds herself alone. The bank shot won't go. Shorts underneath, gets the offensive rebound despite being bumped out of the way by Lauren Lee, and that'll be a loose ball foul on Lee. That is 4 on the sophomore, but that also will put the Gauchos over the team foul limit with 3:46 left. And Kennedy Shorts, who doesn't go to the line all that often, will get a golden opportunity to get the Lopes closer here. Lee will check out of the Gauchos lineup with those 4 personals. Megan Ormiston back in as Shorts converts the first. So Kennedy getting the chance to play some quality minutes down the stretch and taking advantage of it. Next free throw, though, won't good. She gets one of the 2. 53-48. Lopes again trying to clamp down defensively. They've done a good job of that here in the second quarter, or in the fourth quarter, excuse me. They've limited UCSB to just 5 points in the first 6.5 minutes. 12 on the shot clock for Coco Miller. Can't use a lane screen once, but does it the second time. Then almost traveled and now throws it away, but Shorts can't complete the steal. Here's Ormiston from the corner and gets it to go from 12 feet. Once again, the Lopes did everything right, but couldn't complete the turnover, and it left Ormiston alone with the time winding down on the shot clock. 55-48, back to a 7-point USB lead. Varis around a pick for 3. Venla Varis now 2 for 5 from 3-point range. And back to a 4-point deficit. This is the closest the Lopes have been here in the second half. Danae Miller to the right side for Coco Miller. 2:40 to go in this thriller. Fasten your seatbelts. Around a screen goes Coco, but nowhere to go. Out to Ormiston. 1 bounce. She'll put it up from 15. That bounce around and off. And it's Jada Holland all by her lonesome underneath for the defensive rebound. Lopes trying to cut it to a single possession game with 2:22 left. Holland waits to get a set play from her head coach. Takes the dribble to the left side. Shot clock at 15. Varis coming around double screens, can't get it to her. Shot clock at 10. Holland now calls out another play. Comes around a Daniel screen. She'll put it up from 8. She will get it from 8. Coco Miller fought around the screen, but Holland still had the open look she needed. And it's a 2-point basketball game. We're inside of 2 minutes, and Bonnie Henriksen wants to talk about it. Lopes have scored the last 5 points. 30-second timeout, Santa Barbara. Minute 53 left to go in this one. Don't you go anywhere. It's UCSB 55, GCU 53. Keep it here for more exciting Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
Curiosity fuels you. So when you're ready for a fulfilling new career, let your curiosity fuel that change. Grand Canyon University's online degree programs in technology make it convenient for you to achieve your dream. GCU teaches you how to plan for innovation. By applying that knowledge to today's most challenging problems, you're helping to build a better tomorrow. Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
The big weapon for UCSB in this second half has been Isla Lane. She has 14 points on the night, 8 of them coming in that third quarter when UCSB was maintaining the lead. More importantly, she also has 18 rebounds. But Jada Holland has been the spark plug here in this fourth quarter for the Lopes. She's got 6 in the quarter, 15 in the game. Megan Armiston with the ball for UCSB, whose lead is down to 2. They've led by as many as 11. Coco Miller takes the dribble to the left side, handoff for Danae Miller. She has been in a battle with Lauda Pieta all night long. Here is Miller, springs free, fires a 3, but that one's short. It was on target, just didn't have the mustard. And Jada Holland with another rebound, that's her 6th. And the Lopes come down with a chance to tie or possibly take the lead. And as Holland drives away from the ball, going down out by the three-point arc is Alicia Hernandez. And as a result, it'll be an offensive foul called on the Lopes, trying to set a screen out front. Foul was called on Kennedy Shorts. That is the third team foul on the Lopes, and Pieta pressuring the inbounds pass in the backcourt. Minute 20 to go. And the Lopes trying to clamp it down again as they've cut this lead down to 2. Coco Miller, miles from the hoop, in between the circles. Driving on Holland, now stop the dribble. Shot clock at 12, game clock at minute 4, and now again going down. Out on the perimeter is Hernandez. And again, it'll be a foul on the Lopes, this time on Ven Lavares. That's her 3rd. So both teams now out of fouls. UCSB has been over the team foul limit for a couple of minutes. And that's team foul number 4 on GCU. One more, and the Gauchos will be in the bonus. Fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock as Miller looks to inbound. Waits, gets it for Danae Miller, and they want to use some clock. Pieta pressuring Danae out front. Inside of a minute left to go in regulation. Another barn burner here at GCU Arena. Hope you're enjoying it. Miller down to 6, now 5, now 4. Around a screen. She'll drive, knocks down Pieta. Offensive foul, and Pieta takes the charge. Lopes with the basketball. Well, time was running out on the shot clock, and they really didn't have anything going. So Miller was just trying to get the first step, and Pieta knew exactly where she was going. Nicole Powell wants to get offense in there, so Tavia Rao will check in. Kennedy Shorts getting high fives as she heads to the Lopes bench. 45.9 seconds remaining in regulation, and a timeout on the floor. We'll take one. 45.9 seconds remaining. Gauchos 55, your Lopes 53, right here on GCU TV.
Fill your heart and spread holiday cheer to Arizona families in need.
Our neighbors need your help to put food on the table and gifts under the tree.
It's ABC 15's Operation Santa Claus, presented by Sanderson Ford and Sanderson Lincoln.
Bring donations of children's clothing, food, or toys to ABC 15, a Sanderson dealership, or a UPS store near you.
You can enter to win a new Ford truck or Lincoln MKZ.
Learn more at GiveToTheClause.com. Ho, 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 ho.
Another tight one for Nicole Powell and the GCU women's basketball team. Here's the situation. 45.9 seconds left to go in regulation. The Lopes, who have trailed since midway through the second quarter, have the basketball, trailing 55-53. Holland, Pieta, Varis, Daniel, and Rowell, the 5 on the floor for the home team. And the Lopes will go into the weave. Holland will drive, stop, cross court, in the corner. Rowell for 3! Tavia Rowell gives the Lopes the lead with half a minute to go. Danae Miller out of backcourt. Shot clock and game clock virtually even. And Bonnie Henriksen will call a timeout for the Gauchos. 24.3 seconds to go. Here comes the Lopes. It's GCU 56, UCSB 55, right here on GCU TV.
Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable, and nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu.
Part of my motivation of becoming a doctoral learner was so I could immediately start using the information that I was learning in the courses as a tennis coach here for my student athletes. I think that it set a good example for those around me to know that things can be accomplished. My name is Greg Prudhomme, and I just defended my dissertation to earn a degree in performance psychology.
There's a thunder in all of us. Come find your purpose at Grand Canyon University.
Tavia Rao was an offensive show in the first 3.5 minutes of the game, making 2 3-pointers. She just made her first field goal since then, and it couldn't have been bigger. With half a minute to go to give the Lopes their first lead since they led 16-15. 24.3 seconds to go. UCSB will have the ball in the front court with a lineup of Coco Miller, Lauren Lee, Danae Miller, Isla Lane, and Tal Sahar. And now I think the referees are coming over to double check something. Keep in mind the Gauchos have called their final timeout. The Lopes still have 1 timeout remaining. Referees continuing to confer, and Nicole Powell looking at her 5 on the floor saying, hey, let's talk about it real quick. I think the referees might be checking not just the foul situation, which keep in mind both teams are out of fouls anyway, but I think they may be double checking to see whether or not the Gauchos are indeed out of timeouts. Gauchos have led by as many as 11, but for the second straight game, the Lopes defense has come to play down the stretch. In the last 2.5 minutes, the Lopes have outscored UCSB 8-0. And we're down to the final 24 seconds in regulation to try and decide this one. Now they've got it set. Coco Miller will inbound to the left of her own bench. Holland pressures. She looks, she waits. Lobs it for Lauren Lee. Lee now will get it off for Danae Miller. She's the point guard. Shot clock and game clock virtually identical, about a half-second difference. Coming out to get it, Coco Miller. Back for Danae Miller. Drop in, and that is stuffed by Laura Pieta. Pieta got all ball, and the possession arrow favors GCU. Another defensive gem by the Spaniard. And now it's Nicole Powell's turn to call a timeout as the Lopes are going to get the basketball. Powell making sure that she calls a timeout so that she can move the ball to half court to inbound it. So the scenario now is with 10.6 seconds remaining in regulation, Nicole Powell will instruct her team to take care of the basketball. Keep in mind that the Lopes, who had over 20 turnovers 3 nights ago, have just 9 tonight, and they certainly do not want to pick up number 10 here. So they will try to get a clean inbounds, and then we'll have to play keep away. Shot clock is off. Lopes lead by 1. Tavia Rao just went to the scorer's table to check in. So you know Nicole Powell wants to get her best free throw shooters in, and Rao is one of their best. She's 2 for 2 tonight, and she has not missed a free throw yet this season, as neither has Ven Lavaris. So the Gauchos will come out, and actually they came out with 6 players out of the huddle, so they've got to kind of figure out who's going to the sideline. It's going to be Alicia Hernandez. So they come out with Megan Ormiston instead of Isla Lane, Danae Miller, Johnny Gonzalez, Coco Miller, and Lauren Lee, who has 4 personal fouls. Laura Pieta will inbound it to the right of her own bench. She has Deja Daniel, Jada Holland, Tavia Rowell, and Ven Lavaris joining her on the floor. 10.6 seconds to go. Lopes by 1. Pieta looks, she waits. Holland comes to get it. And now Holland will hold on to it. And now the Gauchos tie her up. 8.5 seconds to go. And now the possession arrow swings it the other way. Holland just wanted to play keep away, expecting a foul, but instead Danae Miller got both hands on the basketball. And now the Gauchos will have it in backcourt with no timeouts remaining and a chance to win it. Alicia Hernandez and Isla Lane check back in. Coco Miller will inbound it in front of the Lopes bench. Looking, waiting, lobs it in, and it's knocked away from Danae Miller. Pieta on her knees looking at the referee saying, I knocked it off of Danae. Now they said that it's UCSB basketball, but the referees are going to come over and look at the replay to see whether or not Pieta was correct. Pieta has been overplaying Danae Miller all night long and did it again here. And now the question is, did she force another turnover? Danae Miller, who averages over 16 points a game on the season, has been held scoreless, much in part by the defense of Pieta. She is 0 for 8 from the field, has missed her only 2 3-point attempts in 29 minutes. And so now the referees at the scorer's table conferring. If the Lopes win this, then they will have the ball underneath their own basket with 7.5 seconds left and a 1-point cushion. If you enjoy this kind of excitement, we've still got one more game on the homestand. That's this Sunday afternoon at 2, and you see it in your picture right there on the marquee as the Whittier College Poets will come in to take on your Lopes starting at 2. Catch it in person or catch it right here on GCU TV. Referees still have not announced their decision. Again, their original call was that the Gauchos would keep it. And the Gauchos have already broken their huddle around Bonnie Hendrickson, so they are still expecting that they're going to get the ball back. Referees still conferring, although they have walked away from the scorer's table momentarily. 7.5 seconds to go. Lopes have scored the last 8 points of the game. And it looks as though the Gauchos will indeed keep the basketball. So Coco Miller will have to go the length of the floor, and nobody for the moment covering the inbounds pass. Kennedy Shorts has been inserted for defensive purposes, and she's towards the middle of the floor, not covering anybody. 8.4 seconds to go. They put an extra second back up. They get it to Danae Miller, streaking down the right side, keeps coming all the way in. Scoop shot is good. 3.2 seconds left, and Nicole Powell will call a timeout. The first scoring of the night for the Gauchos' leading scorer, and it comes with 3.2 seconds left. We'll take a quick timeout. Gauchos with a 1-point lead, 3.2 seconds left on GCU TV.
When my hot water heater failed, she was pregnant, in-laws were coming, a little bit of water, it rocked our world.
I had no idea the amount of damage that water could do.
We called USAA, and they greeted me as they always do. Sergeant Baker, how are you? They were on it. It was unbelievable. Having insurance is something everyone needs, but having USAA, that's a privilege. We're the Bakers, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
Nervous Nellies aplenty here at GCU Arena, and here's why. 3.2 seconds remaining. Danae Miller just went coast to coast for the lay-in, her first scoring of the game to give UCSB a 1-point lead. Now the Lopes have called their final timeout. They will have the ball in the front court and a chance to win it. Lauda Pieta will inbound it to the right of her own bench along with Varis, Rowell, Daniel, and Holland. They just needed 2. They trail by a point. Pieta gets it. She looks. She waits. Better hurry. Gets it low block for Daniel. One bounce, turnaround, jumper's good at the buzzer. And Daniel gives the Lopes the victory. Now, wait a minute, still 0.3 on the clock, which means you can only get a catch, and that will do it. Inbound to Miller. 2 big hoops, one by each team in the final 3 seconds, but it's the Lopes striking the final blow, outscoring UCSB in that final 10 minutes, 19-9, and Deja Daniel with the final hoop off the glass, completing yet another double-double for the senior center from Killeen, Texas. And the celebration at midcourt as the Lopes come off the deck in the fourth quarter, then come off the deck again in the final 3 seconds and get their second straight win to stay perfect on the homestand. Another fantastic finish right here at GCU Arena as the fans slap and high five with the victorious Lopes, who now will have a chance to head to the 500 mark to close out this homestand on Sunday. We'll talk more about that in a moment. First of all, let's take a look at that final basket, and you see the exultation by Deja Daniel. Daniel, one of 3 different Lopes that finish in double figures. Jada Holland with a huge second half. 15 points in the game, 13 coming up after halftime. She also had 7 rebounds to go along with 2 assists. Tavia Rao with 2 3-pointers in the first 3.5 minutes, and then her final 3-pointer coming with a half a minute left to go in regulation. She winds up with 11 points, 3 of 5 from 3-point range, and then the biggest hoop of the night from the tallest player on the Lopes roster, Deja Daniel. 10 points, 10 rebounds, another double-double in 37 minutes. And in a losing battle, UCSB now drops their 3rd consecutive loss despite getting 14 points and 18 rebounds from Isla Lane and 13 points off the bench in Tal Sahar. But Sahar got all of those points in the first 20 minutes. And once again, the Lopes defense coming to play, especially in that second half. And remember, 2 of our 3 keys to the game, we're talking about defense, getting the hands up in the defensive passing lanes, which is what the Lopes did in the final 20 minutes, and then making sure they went a full 40 and closing it down in the final stanza, scoring 11 of the final 14 points of the game in the final 3 minutes. Want to remind you, 2 more games before Santa Claus comes here at GCU Arena. 1 for the men, 1 for the women. Saturday night at 6 p.m., Dan Marley's team trying to get that 5th win of the season, that elusive 5th win of the season. A 6 p.m. tip-off against Eastern Illinois Saturday night. And then Sunday afternoon at 2, the same thrill-a-minute. Lopes women taking on Whittier College from California, again at 2 p.m. start. Hope you will be here in person, but if you can't be here in person, be right with us as we'll have the tap. Fox 10 Extra and 1580 The Fanatic on radio Saturday night, and then GCU TV right here on Sunday afternoon. Want to thank our great crew, Hunko Van Sale, Andrew Rangel, Montana Lambden, and Haley James Hines for bringing you the sights and sounds of this thriller. And so until we talk to you Sunday afternoon and Saturday night this weekend, this is Jim Howell speaking to you from GCU Arena in the heart of Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, reminding you the final score again in another thriller. The GCU Lopes 58, the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos 57. Remember to follow Grand Canyon University on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GCU. Good night, everybody, and go Lopes.